What's going on, viewers from the internet? I'm VarietyGamer95 here with a different kind of video. This is not going up as part of a Let's Play, a quarter quickies, or whatever, but I just thought I'd give you guys a little bit of an insight on how I produce YouTube videos as well as my thought process that goes behind them. I decided to do this because, we've been through enough Let's Plays together, haven't we? I figured now would be a good time if I actually explain to you guys what exactly goes into my thought process and my editing process when it comes to producing YouTube videos. This process is current as of December 2021. This is being recorded a few months in advance, but just trust me when I say this is my process as of December 2021. So with the introduction out of the way, let's go ahead and get this show on the road, shall we? So obviously, the first step when it comes to producing a YouTube video is simply getting set up. So I have a little stand that I use for my laptop, and I have a small bag that I keep all of my recording equipment in. If we go inside the bag, there's actually a lot of recording equipment, but let's start with my laptop. My laptop is an HP Envy, which just so happens to be capable of running Windows 11. So that is the laptop that I use. It more than meets my requirements for the capture card that I use. As for my equipment, I use an Elgato HD60S capture card, which is an external capture card, by the way, meaning it plugs in via USB to USB-C, and it doesn't connect. You don't actually stick it inside the computer. You don't build it, in other words. I also have an HDMI cable that came with my pre-owned PS3 from GameStop. It's nice and thick, the cable I mean. I also have an L-series headset mic for recording my commentary, also from GameStop. This headset mic provides mostly clear commentary for a reasonable price of $25, compared to some others costing $50 or even as much as $100. I use the headset mic as opposed to a USB mic because it allows me to listen to the game audio while I'm recording. It's a lot easier in my opinion. As far as recording co-op Let's Plays go, I use a headset mic splitter and several M-series mono headset mics. All of them also happen to be from GameStop. I believe the mono headset mics are $15. The reason I use mono headset mics is to allow commentary as clear as the stereo headset mics, while also allowing me to listen to my co-commentators, as a test run of Mario Kart Double Dash with my sibling taught me. These headset mic splitters can in fact be daisy-chained to allow several headset mics to be plugged in at once, and commentary from all participants is recorded on a single file through WavePad, an audio editing software which will go into more detail a little bit later. This is an absolutely primitive setup, but it also absolutely works, and until I can afford a lot of the fancier equipment, let alone a desktop computer, this is my way of recording any co-op Let's Plays. The best part about these mic splitters is, not only are they dirt cheap at GameStop, $6 at most, it's because of these things that allowed me to meet fellow YouTuber CypherStake89, who's been featured in a few of my videos. Outside of that, we do hang out and play video games together with our other good buddy, Daniel. Excuse me. When it comes to recording co-op Let's Plays, I prefer recording games where everyone plays at the same time rather than alternating turns. I say this because playing with other people at the same time provides a type of energy that can't be achieved by taking turns. However, I also believe that the reverse is also true, where taking turns playing a game provides a type of energy that can't be achieved by playing at the same time. Think of it like a co-commentator. Think of the person not playing as a co-commentator. What's also true is, for example, a co-op LP with a sibling and a co-op LP with your friends can provide vastly different dynamics depending on the context. Ugh.
Go!
Okay.
No.
I'm trying. Alright, let's just get rid of this.
What was that?
He gives stone, I know that
If
much.
you die, I will punch you. I was supposed to be the one who dies.
Oh, I wasn't pressing the Y button yet, I still use stone. You know what, let's get rid of him. I think I'm gonna keep my ability to slide.
Punch!
Yes, that was them punching me.
Yeah!
Alright.
Okay. Alright. I keep dancing! I'm not trying to dance! I hate these controls!
I think you have compulsory dancing disorder.
Probably. Like restless leg syndrome or shit like that.
Okay.
Alright, so
The PlayStation 3 in particular has a setting called HDCP, which to sum up is a copyright protection measure. For that system, HDCP can't be turned off, which requires using an HDMI splitter that I ordered online. This handy little device requires a more complicated setup, as you'll see by this diagram, but it bypasses HDCP, allowing me to record footage on the PS3. The PS4 has this protection measure as well, but that can simply be turned off in the settings menu, therefore that complicated setup is not necessary. For all other systems, HDCP isn't an issue at all, and I can plug in my capture card without issue. Gee, you think HDCP would have been an issue for some companies? If I'm recording a retro console, I use an HDMI adapter to get footage of N64, GameCube, and PlayStation 2 games. Since I'm not a modder whatsoever and I'm not interested in going that route, this is what I'm choosing. Bear in mind that this is not an HDMI converter, but an HDMI adapter. In other words, it simply lets me plug in my retro console to an HD television without any enhancements to the picture quality. Despite this, my Elgato can still capture that footage at 60 frames per second, which requires me to set the recording quality to 720p. It sucks that I can't choose 480p and still get 60 FPS, especially since that takes up more space, but it is what it is. Just trust me, I tested that, it didn't work. As far as video storage goes, I have a 5TB hard drive that I use to upload videos from, and a 4TB hard drive as a backup storage device. What I've learned when it comes to digital storage is you never know if something stupid that's out of your control can happen and erase all your hard work, so having a secondary storage device is something I'd highly recommend. If that somehow doesn't happen, you may not know when you want this with common sense at the appropriate time and have a brain fart. Trust me, it happens to the best of us. I know it's happened to me. Something small like that could impact your hard work big time. As I said, I'm also speaking from personal experience, because I once worked on a document that I accidentally deleted and overwrote at separate times, and if it weren't for my backup device, that would have been lost forever. Even after uploading the videos, I keep the finished products on my hard drive. I do this just in case I want to look back on them in my spare time or in case I need them in the future. Case in point, what you'll be seeing across this video. The software that I use for editing videos is VideoPad, and for commentary is WavePad. They're both by this company called NCH Software. They actually make other software too, like a PhotoPad for editing your pictures. Luckily for me, the Elgato handles all the recording of the game audio, which is set with a digital dial. It doesn't matter what volume level my television is set to, it's the Elgato's dial that determines the initial volume of the game audio. I used to use the Elgato's commentary button to record my commentary, and that's how I handled that up until Earthbound, my 10th Let's Play. Starting at Let's Play 11, Feeding Frenzy 2, Shipwreck Showdown, I used WavePad to record the bulk of my commentary. My reasons for recording my commentary separately from the game audio include being able to edit the volume of the game audio separately from my commentary. Before recording, I always do a mic check, which involves saying this line. Bananas are an excellent source of potassium. Apples are red, yellow, and green. Green, green, green. Oftentimes, that phrase is shortened to just the first part. Bananas are an excellent source of potassium. The downside to using WavePad after the initial test is that I have no idea how my commentary will actually sound until I get to editing the video. And there are times where part of it may come out a little, shall we say, tinny. That little echoey sound that you might hear throughout my videos. I apologize for any of those instances that come up, but as of this video, I don't have the know-how to fix it. By recording my commentary separately from the game audio, it allows me to individually edit the two sets of sounds as needed. I have footage prepared for a super quiet game and a super loud game, where I left the game audio and commentary unedited to show you exactly what I mean. Okay, so here is an example of where my commentary is unedited, but it's far louder than the game audio, which is also unedited, I should say. So on my end, my headset mic, the sound is actually not fine. It's not something that I need to worry about, but as I said before, it just sucks that with WavePad, I have no idea what my commentary will actually sound like until I get to editing it. I know it's been a while since I've touched this game in particular, so just bear with me. Forgive me if I'm a little rusty if I forget things, like, say, the ability to do the suction technique. I did Let's Play this game a little while back, but it's worth noting that this particular game right here, Feed Frenzy 2 Shipwreck Showdown, this was actually the game that I started recording my commentary separately from the game audio. And I'm just here recording this footage here to prove a point, to prove one half of the editing options that I have to deal with. The first half, of course, being that this game in particular is super quiet. I actually almost got nailed, not once but twice. Luckily I didn't. Yeah, see, even when I'm making a video like this, I'm still saying stuff like that. Things that I normally say in my commentary, you know? Let's see, but as I was saying before, this is just one half of the editing troubles that I have to worry about. Anyway, that's the stage done. Let's see.
Super Frenzy.
And there we go. That is the game audio being too quiet while my commentary is unedited. Now, how about I show off the opposite, the game audio being too loud with my commentary unedited. Alright, now that I showed you guys the too quiet game audio, how about I show you guys the too loud game audio? This is the other half of what I'm talking about before. Chose this stage in particular because this thing's nice and loud, I think. So yeah, so as I said earlier, I don't know how my commentary will sound until I actually get to editing it. If I remember to play the game, I can actually get through it. But even though I do talk pretty loud, my commentary may still be being drowned out by the game audio. See? As you might be able to hear from what's going on. There we go. See? Was that too fast for you? Okay, how about I move on to stage 6-4 then? There we go. See, because there's a lot of sound going on, and I'm trying my best to find things to talk about while I'm trying to prove my point, you know? I'm trying to prove that this is the reason why I record my commentary separately from the game audio. Just because if one game is too quiet, then if one is too quiet, then you can't hear the game audio. My commentary is too loud. But if the game audio is too loud, then you're not going to be able to hear. If the game audio is too loud, you're going to hear my voice. Simply put, either my commentary is too loud or the game audio is too loud. That's the point that I'm trying to get across. By recording my commentary separately from the game audio, it also allows me to apply any voice effects to the commentary without affecting the game audio at all. The thing is, it's best to do this with RPGs, of which I've only Let's Played 2 of at the time of this video. I got started on minor voice effects at the end of Let's Play 9, VVVVVV, but voice effects didn't really take off on my channel until the following Let's Play, Earthbound. However, because that was the last LP where I was recording my commentary with the Elgato's built-in functions, things were a little, flawed in execution. Alright, talk to the dog.
Do you want me to go with you? I guess I have no choice. Let's go.
Since the animals in Earthbound talk through Nest using telepathy, I wanted to better capture the effect that wasn't possible to do with the way I was handling recording commentary at the time. So what I did was not read out the speech of the text box and edited that in post. But as we all know, we're only human and mistakes are bound to come up. While I try to be as thorough as possible when it comes to little details like that, at least one instance is bound to slip through the cracks. But no, I gave myself utter hell. That's what you say. Still, I'm not Personally, when it comes to recording little details, I try to think of what's not mentioned by other Let's Players or elsewhere on the internet. I also happen to be talking while simultaneously thinking in the moment, so some things may slip through the cracks as well, and I don't actually notice it until it's too late. Nego and Clean. Nego will basically rub Kirby on the ground, creating sparks that can be used to damage enemies. Like so. Nego and Spark. Nego will... I didn't always have all this fancy software, however, and in fact, I had really primitive stuff. I initially used the basic video editor on my laptop and compression software that only goes up to 60 frames per second. Starting to stick it to the man, I used the basic video editor as my compression software, but that's still going to keep 60 frames per second. Donkey Kong Country 3 Dixie Kong's Double Trouble was when I finally got VideoPad but still used the basic video editor for compression until Kirby's Dream Land 3. When I finally managed to find Wondershare Uniconverter and keep 60 frames per second. The thing is, I've noticed that as a PC user, when it comes to video editing and compression and all that, my options seem to be limited compared to Mac users. Wondershare is a video compression software that lets me compress up to 4 videos at once. I can place more than 4 videos at once in the tray, but as far as actual compression goes, I can only compress 4 at a time. When I choose a game, I try to pick one that I personally enjoy and show off how I play the game. The beauty about Let's Plays in video games in general is that no two people play the same game the exact same way. This allows people to form their own opinions on the mechanics and features, or allows them to show how they play the game. Some examples include using a different preferred power for what's considered the norm. You know, I guess, Let's Play norm. Using a technique that's part of a character's basic moveset, but I've never seen in many other, if any other, Let's Players use, or perhaps even showing a particular way to make a difficult game mode at least somewhat easier. Whenever I record platformers and stage select, I cover either one world per video or one stage per video, depending on how the game itself is structured. This recording strategy results in longer videos but shorter Let's Plays. I'm fully aware longer videos are something most people don't want, but hear me out on this. I record this type of game the way I do because, in case an awesome or hilarious moment happens in that particular world, it's easier to find. I say easier because you still have to scrub the video until you find it, but it's still better than going through every single video in a playlist looking for that moment. At least I think it's easier. There's also the fact that I'm absolutely terrible at coming up with names for everything. So by recording one word per video, I can simply write out the name of the world instead of some cheesy title. The exception to all this is RPGs and other action-type games, where in those games there's no stage selection, at least for the most part. In those cases, I will have to be a bit more traditional with recording the videos, and as far as video titles go, I simply write what happens in the video in question. For other types of games that don't allow stage select or modern platformers, the stages are far longer. I'll cross those bridges if I ever come to them. I prefer picking a game that I've played through on my own time at least once before. I don't know what anyone else's logic for that would be, but for me personally, it's so I have at least an idea on what to expect in a game I'm interested in Let's Playing. For example, my Let's Play of Bug Fables The Everlasting Sapling was actually my second time playing through the game, and sure enough, that playthrough went a lot better than my first. I found the bosses of the even-numbered chapters easier out of a 7-chapter story, to the point where the final boss was the only one that took me 2 tries. There can be, of course, exceptions to this rule, and even then, I might produce a blind Let's Play for different reasons than just challenging myself, but don't count on that happening too often for me. Whenever I do a recording, I do a mic check with the phrase I said earlier and stop that recording. I hit record in the Elgato software and start recording the commentary about 2 seconds later. I choose to wait 2 seconds because it's not too long to wait, easy for me to remember. However, the exception to that is starting the first episode of the series. I only start the commentary either at the title screen or at the opening sequence depending on the context of the game. And because of how late I hit record on the commentary, it's harder for me to pinpoint where exactly I should place the commentary. I like to think I get it right at least. Whenever I start a new Let's Play, I start for the system's home screen. There are a few reasons why I do this, and I'm going to go over them right here. Number 1. To prove that I'm playing the game in question legitimately. This is probably the most important reason I have for doing this. I don't want to go into too much detail, but I'll just say that if you know the history of, shall we say, the House of Mario, you'll know exactly why I can't find a 3DS capture card in this day and age. Also, when it comes to emulation, I'm in a weird stance. I'm not exactly against emulation, but I'm not entirely for it either. I'm in a similar boat with mods, and I can never get a straight answer on whether or not producing Let's Play videos, at least games from, the House of Mario, with either mods or emulators is okay. I want to state that neither emulation nor mods are my forte, so I don't do research on either subject. Whatever research I did do, it's not helpful at all. When it comes to mods and emulators, people often tell me that it's fair game, for a number of reasons that I don't think I should get into. That's something I really don't want to get into too deep with, Number 2, to show what the startup screen for the game in question looks like. Since no Let's Player ever shows what the startup screen looks like for the game they're playing, I figure starting each new Let's Play I put out for the home screen would be a subtle way of showing what the very first thing you see in the game looks like. Of course, this could change depending on the context. In the case of Switch games, this is to show the icon for that particular game. No game with a Switch has a startup screen. For Game Boy games, I show a picture of what the cartridge looks like, as it's otherwise just a generic Game Boy player icon. For PlayStation 1 discs, it's the same deal, an image of what the disc and front cover look like, but it's the generic PlayStation disc icon instead. If I ever get a right to LP again with the PlayStation 2, you guessed it, it'll be the same image deal as PS1 and Game Boy games. For Nintendo 64 games, as this system has no home screen, I simply show what the cartridge looks like and insert it in my system. As a minor note, though Wii U Virtual Console games have a generic startup screen for VC, I still show the startup screen on principle, just so to break that habit. For everything else, it's to show what the game startup screen looks like. Because of the nature of this habit I formed, whenever I Let's Play a game originally released for the Xbox 360, original Xbox, PlayStation 2, or PlayStation 1 through backward compatibility, this inadvertently causes me to show the console boot screen for those systems, at least part of it. Number 3, to show what system I'm Let's Playing the game on. For those who don't know, I grew up with Nintendo, so I prioritize the same game available on all systems on their systems. Since I'm not a graphics nerd and I don't care about that or frame rate, I look for fun rather than picture quality. The only times I switched from the Nintendo version were Wii U games, but that's an issue I'll talk about in a different video. I'm aware that many games nowadays have the option to change your controls, but should a game not allow that, the only time you'd find out this information is if the control is displayed on screen, or if the Let's Player outright says the names of the buttons they're pressing. But who's actually going to do that? By starting each Let's Play for the home screen, it's immediately obvious as to what system I'm playing on, so no one has to guess. Does anyone actually care about what system I'm playing a game on? No. But as I already listed 2 reasons prior to this one, you can't exactly say this is entirely pointless. Number 4, to provide speculation. This is probably the most minor of reasons as to why I start each new Let's Play from the home screen, but it's also true. By doing this, I'm subtly showing off a small portion of my digital game collection. During that brief moment, I might be able to peek anyone's interest in a game that I might cover in the future. The same goes for when choosing a physical Nintendo 64 game, but of course this point is invalid when I'm Let's Playing anything involving the GameCube, since you can only have those physically despite having a home screen. Once I finish recording the video and commentary, it's time to move on to editing. VideoPad in particular is pretty easy to use, and it's a good beginner-friendly video editing tool. I put everything I need in the bins, as VideoPad calls it. There are 3 bins for videos, audio files, and images. You may have noticed the 4th bin called sequences, but I never have use for that, so I'm not entirely sure what that one does. When it comes to video editing, you can choose video effects ranging from applying a filter, adding a split screen effect, and of course adding text. If you've seen my videos, you may have noticed that I apply a sepia filter. My reason for this is to make the faster moving image a bit easier on the eyes, since everything is only a few shades of brown. Also, the sped up footage with the sepia filter is a nice throwback to a certain unlockable feature from Pokemon Stadium for the N64. Of course, if I'm speeding up footage of a Game Boy game, the sepia filter isn't necessary since the game is already in black and white. By purchasing the best version of VideoPad, I gain full access to every feature, including unlimited video and audio overlays. Otherwise, you only get access to 2 audio overlays, and since one part is taken by the game audio and the second part is taken by the commentary, you can imagine having infinite audio overlays is a good thing. Speeding up a video isn't listed as an effect, so to do that I have to right click, click change video clip speed and adjust it to however I want, almost always to 200% or double speed. Adding images is a better way to describe what it is I'm talking about in greater detail. To resize the image, there's a circle in the center with black dots, and it'll tell me how small the image will be. Once that's done, I can move the image to wherever I want. I could also click on the image to bring up a list to resize it that way, but I want to be lazy. Adding text is also an invaluable tool for in case I want to correct something or add something else to a note, and I can also play with effects on that too. I even have some corrections pre-recorded, specifically to get the viewer's attention so they don't have to correct me. I also have clips recorded to show how smart I am or to call out my less than correct statements.
Yeah, I'm smart!
That's wrong, Joseph. Nice going, Joseph. You're close, but no cigar. That last one is actually me singing that to the tune of the VarietyGamer95's song. Did you catch that? Adding videos to overlays just like adding images, except I could choose to remove the audio from the video I'm overlaying. It's linked by default, so I have to click the little chain icon to delink it. If necessary, I add any voice effects I want to use to the commentary by using WavePad. If I want to add voice effects to a specific part of the commentary, I can highlight it and add the effects I want. I can even mix voice effects till I get what I want, or at least as close to what I want. For characters thinking in dialogue, I found that the echo effect from WavePad doesn't work too well, but that's where an app called Audacity comes in.
This is a character's thinking line. This is a character's thinking line. This is a character's thinking line. This is a character's thinking line.
Audacity is a free audio editing app that works a lot like WavePad, except Audacity has the better echo effect, so I import my commentary and edit that part as I would for WavePad. Again, the audio editing software that I use is beginner friendly and you may want to upgrade to better software or even equipment later on, but I like what I currently have going on. After exporting the video, it's time to get compression done for a smaller file size. I use an app called Wondershare Unique Converter that has a few features, but I bought it specifically for its video compression capabilities. I use the video editing software that I do because I'm a PC user and all the other good software seems limited to Mac users, which is why I had to get creative when it came to looking up all this on Google. Wondershare lets you compress 4 videos at once, but the process can take as much as an hour depending on the videos I make. Once I do all that and get the videos on my hard drives, there's one more offline step, creating the thumbnail. I took design cues from the great Chuck Conroy, but of course added my own branding. Gray is my favorite color, so a lot of elements I use include the color gray. I can't take all the credit though, as the artwork you see in the thumbnail design was done by my younger sibling. They're the artists of my family and designed this for me on a whim, so I sincerely thank them for that. After uploading comes the end screen. I usually start working on these after the Let's Play is over. It is meant to serve as a means for easy navigation for those who stick with the video to the end. The top right square leads to the next video in the series, the top left square leads to the previous video, and the bottom right square leads to the playlist for the series. The bottom left square contains links to my social media for those interested. I do have a Facebook account, but because you use real names on that site, I chose not to share that link as it's my personal profile, not a topic page. The circle in the middle is the subscribe button. Not that I actively push for subscribers, but I thought it's a nice way of saying, if you like what you see, feel free to subscribe. You may have noticed what looks like a crystal ball in my channel branding. This makes more sense now given how my channel has evolved in a short amount of time, but I wanted to invoke an ode to mystery of sorts. It's like, what game is VarietyGamer95 going to play next? For thumbnail design, I use the snipping tool that Windows has, seek whatever I think looks interesting, put that into Microsoft Paint, and add my own channel branding. Sometimes these snippets may include a guide danga situation, for games like Kirby's Dream Land 3 that are very puzzle heavy. These are the most basic of basic tools, but they absolutely work for what I want. In the crystal ball, the first video has the word start, moving on sequentially with a number to the last video of the main part of the Let's Play, where the word end is used. If the series has any bonus videos, EX is written followed by the number if applicable, otherwise there's no number added. For extra videos, the thumbnail has SP and the number written. Therefore, Let's Play Minis, the words start, middle, M1, M2, and end are written when applicable. If I'm producing videos featuring guests, their icons are added to the thumbnail design for the video in question, as seen from my Let's Plays of Kirby's Dream Land 3 and Battletoads. If a guest doesn't have a YouTube channel that I can find, I'll borrow an icon from my social media friends list and use that, at least until they have their own channel, if they ever sign up for one. By altering the thumbnail design for co-op Let's Plays, I'm both showing the viewer that this is a co-op series on my channel and giving credit to those involved. Despite that, I'm the one who does all the editing on my laptop. As far as comments goes, I actually had to take protective measures because some people were leaving links to, shall we say, less than reputable sites. Sorry guys, but I'm not about to get in trouble for what someone else did. And you don't want to know what links they've been sending to. It ain't pretty. When it comes to comments, my approval system is simple. As long as you're not leaving links to obscene sites, you're not making hateful or hurtful comments, your comment is approved. It's as simple as that. I don't care if you criticize me, I don't care if you argue with someone else, whatever. As long as you're not leaving those links or making hateful comments, your comment is approved on my channel. My personal rule when it comes to Let's Play direct sequels is I must wait at least 2 games before the next game. I feel it prevents people from being sequel overdosed and it gives my audience a chance to speculate when it might be the next game in the story. Also, it gives other games a chance to shine with Let's Plays of their own to come between sequels. One final note for this topic, you may have noticed if you come across my playlists that I write a description that gives a summary of the game, what went into the Let's Play, and all of the platforms that the game is presently available on. I write the platforms that the game is presently available on because if anyone who comes across my channel is interested in some of the games that I Let's Play, listing all the platforms that the game is presently available on can help decide which version the viewer wants. Because as we all know, the console wars are a thing, and some people prefer one system over the other. It's worth noting, however, that I list the available platforms in its exact form. This is why if I Let's Play a retro game that's available on Switch Online, I list Switch Online as a platform as opposed to just Switch. The reason being is, well, I have this disclaimer that I write whenever I produce a Let's Play of a retro game that's available through Switch Online. This is because at the time of this recording, Switch Online is still very contentious, and not everyone who has a Switch has Switch Online. The thing is, this disclaimer says that there's no legal way around playing this retro game on Switch Online. I, for one, am not for emulation or mods or anything of the like, but as you guys know, I produce Let's Plays on real hardware. So I basically have this disclaimer as a way of saying, if you want to resort to other less than legal means to play a classic game on the Switch, that's on you. But I write this disclaimer here because I really have to hit it home that, hey, if you want to play this game on the Switch that badly, you need to have Switch Online. If you wish to resort to another method to play it on the Switch, I'm leaving that up to you. Me, I'm choosing not to do that. I tend to produce extra videos between full Let's Plays. These videos can be something like Open World Opera, Quarter Quickies, Let's Play Mini, and Let's Play Refresh. Open World Opera is where I jump into an open world game and do whatever I want, perhaps showing any tips or tricks I know of, or perhaps I'm the toughest enemy in the game. Quarter Quickies is where I cover any arcade-style games that I enjoy, hence the name. These are games that I can't produce a full Let's Play of, but I still wanted to cover them. A Let's Play Mini is where I cover some of the shortest games, and they are either up to 4 or 5 videos long. The reason it's not firmly 5 videos or less is because I produced a 5-part Let's Play Feeding Frenzy long before I came up with this term, which is why that game is a full Let's Play. For the record, what I define as a full Let's Play is a series that's at least 5 videos in a big name game. A Let's Play Refresh is when I produce a Let's Play of a game I covered early in my channel's life. My reasons for revisiting an earlier Let's Play include having a desire to play the game again and bring it up to my current standards, such as custom thumbnails, the video running at 60 frames per second, and in the case of Donkey Kong Country, to cover one world per video and going for a full completion. There's also the fact that I could introduce any new subscribers to some of the games that I've LP'd in the past. However, because there's only so many Let's Play refreshes I could possibly make, I treat these as extra videos uploaded between full Let's Plays. Eventually, I plan on producing a Let's Play refresh of almost all my old LPs. The ones I'm debating are Earthbound, Tetris Effect, and Kirby's Dream Land 2. Earthbound because I've already done the video tour guide thing and also some issues regarding the game's soundtrack. Tetris Effect because that Let's Play was done in a style I don't normally do, ASMR, to better fit that game's mood. And Kirby's Dream Land 2 because that's the first game of what's known as the Dark Matter trilogy, and that's the only game I didn't record at 60 frames per second. It was just awkward timing that Kirby's Dream Land 3 happened to be my first Let's Play to truly be at 60 frames per second after compression. There are times where I upload a video with a unique thumbnail. These videos are either life updates, topics that I want to talk about but currently have no plans to Let's Play the game involved, or another miscellaneous topic. This is what the thumbnail for these videos look like. A snippet of the videos on the left and my channel icon, as well as any guests if applicable, is on the right, all inside of a white box with a gray border made in Microsoft Paint. The reason these videos have a unique thumbnail like this is because, despite featuring gameplay, they're technically not part of any series I'm putting together. These are all the video types that I produce as of this video: full Let's Play Mini, Let's Play Refresh, Quarter Quickies, Open World Opera, and miscellaneous videos. Whew! All that information about my process of making YouTube videos is a lot to take in, so what about some info about myself? As of this video, I'm still living with my family, consisting of my parents, my younger sibling, and myself. Because of that, it's a bit harder to record with my parents home, which is why I'm glad I work a second shift job. I can't go into too much detail, but I'll just say the position is called EVS Specialist, which is a lot like a janitorial position. All I have for recording my Let's Play videos is my laptop. I don't have a desktop computer because of where I record, the game room of my parents' house. My game room has two big couches with an outlet next to the door, which is where I plug in my laptop for recording. It also has a balcony in what was once a closet that my dad took down a few months ago. I keep all my retro games in drawers and they're sorted by system. Essentially, what I describe as Nintendo, Retro Nintendo, Retro PlayStation, and then my Wii collection, since that system has quite a large library. I get all my retro games by traveling an hour from where I live to retro game stores both north and south. Well, an hour give or take a few minutes. When I retro game collect, I think about what games have only ever come out for that system and haven't been ported even to this day. I also think about what games might make for a good Let's Play, or perhaps I might be lucky enough to come across a lesser known game that might make a good Let's Play. Maybe teach someone about a game they didn't know existed. I know I didn't. I don't have a favorite game or even a favorite game series, but I do have favorite games within certain series. For example, my favorite Kirby game is Kirby Superstar, and my favorite Pokemon game is Black and White 2. Despite that, I haven't Let's Played even my favorite games for particular reasons. I'm actually Mexican American, but you probably can't tell from the way I speak. I don't have a Spanish accent because I don't actually know Spanish. As much as I want to learn the language, I'm just too lazy. Well, that and I feel it's really time consuming, and free time is something I don't have much of since I'm full-time in my job. For those who don't know, I actually have autism. The best way I can sum it up is it's a neurological disorder, ergo the brain, that impairs social skills while not affecting intelligence. Autism is actually a spectrum disorder, meaning no two people with a disability experience it the same way. For example, I'm at the high-functioning end of the spectrum, which means I understand non-literal forms of speech, including idioms and puns. I'm fully capable of driving and holding down a job, and I even once learned how to operate a baler at a job I previously had. Autism can also cause limited interest, and since I really don't have any interest outside of video games or the internet, it's hard for me to actually find things to talk about in my commentary. It doesn't help that I don't remember much of my childhood, both in and out of video games. So that also doesn't give me much to work with. Platformer is my favorite video game genre, which is why you see a lot of those games on my channel. Action, adventure, and racing are the runners-up. RPG is my least favorite video game genre, which is why you don't see too many of those games on my channel. Puzzle and FPS are the runners-up for those. It's mainly because those genres contain games I'm awful at. However, that's not to say that I don't have favorite games from those genres, and in fact, the games in those categories that I enjoy, I deeply enjoy. And call me out if you must for using restore points on Wii U Virtual Console games, but one reason I do that is because I didn't exactly grow up with these games. For example, when I originally owned a Nintendo 64, I only ever had 10 games total. I say I didn't grow up with these games, but in actuality I was born in 1993. Let's just say that I was a sore loser when I was a kid, and my mom did not approve of that. The second reason I use restore points is because if I'm going to be forced to restart a 100% objective from scratch anyway, I may as well cheese it with what's essentially a save state and restart from there. The third reason I use restore points is, well, Fire Wario. Oh, come on! It's one hit, that's 2 hits. Yes! Yes! Fuck you! Fuck you! God damn! Okay! Praise Jesus! Fuck this castle! Seriously! Game done! How many godforsaken attempts did this castle take? Seriously! I'm not even gonna make the joke. I'm not in the mood. Let that be the shining example of why I use restore points in Wii U Virtual Console games. That's also an example of why I haven't Let's Play games without a save function. The 2 such games I did cover, that's because I know for a fact I could beat them with little to no trouble. Alright, I believe that just about sums up my process behind recording Let's Play videos, as well as my thinking process behind them. Hopefully, I taught you, my viewers, a little something about my thought process. Again, this is just the way I produce these videos, the software that I use. I'm glad that I was able to sit down and talk about my own process when it comes to making Let's Play videos. Here's to more Let's Plays on my channel, and I'll see you all next time for whatever comes next. Bye!